Hello. Oh shit. What's up, gamers? This is Nerve. You're listening to my 2026 showcase. It has some songs in it. Leave a like and subscribe if you want them to come out.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang
Yo, what's up? It's Sisto, and you're listening to Nerves. Motherfucking showcase, man. The Wizard.
This is Warzone and you're listening to Nerve. If you rip any of the shit, I'm pulling up to your crib with a bowling ball.
All right, one more ID and we'll start the show.
It's Blackface, aka Hawk.
All right.
AKA the Hawk Father.
What is up, guys? It is Agony, and today is Feedback Stream Wednesday. Send any ideas you have. I have all the stuff on Patreon, and you can submit for free if you'd like. So go on ahead and submit your best so I can criticize it. But yeah, let's get started. Have some fun stuff to go through. I'm also streaming on TikTok through like their actual streaming thing. For those that are curious, I have been like streaming wrong, I guess. So I I like actually couldn't really tell what it was doing, but it's whatever. I'm already getting stuff from TikTok right now. Like it's already upset at me, which is really silly. I have no idea how to use this, but we'll try. Okay, I should have it working. Sweet. Okay, so yeah, anybody that was wondering what that music was, that was just from Nerve's showcase. He just posted it. Really cool stuff. You guys check him out. But without further ado, we have our paid members who are submitting. Only a few this time, that's fine. And then we'll go on to the free submissions. So I'm also going to take notes on these. This is the first one of the day. It is Radamanthus. Cool. Radamanthus. And let's hear what it sounds like. Are you sang on this? Oh my goodness. Sick, dude. Damn. I like that because that was really unique. I feel like you were trying to push yourself making this, so it sounds like it. Good job. I think there were a handful of problems though that could be fixed and made it sound a lot better. So I'll walk you through that. So I have my notes. You can see them on screen. Really fun note time. I love notes. But I like the intro. Everything around the drops. I talk about it all the time. I cry about it. The intros and the bridges and the verses, everything that isn't the drop is usually neglected by like bass producers, dubstep producers, and like almost any EDM scene. So it's just really boring, frankly. And I'm glad to see that someone put interest in the intro. Like when I hear this intro, it can probably go a little bit faster to this main part. But this is a cool intro. I like it. The main thing I think you should work on, since you are doing vocals for the first time, I think it's important that you mix them a little better. Like you want to be able to hear what you're saying. That's like the bare minimum. If you're anyone like me, you hate the sound of your own voice and you cringe at it, especially when you're singing. I've done quite a bit of singing, and I hate how I sound, but that's not how other people perceive my voice. Other people like it. I don't. I very clearly don't. But other people like it, and you know they only really care about the musicality and like understand the lyrics. And there's ways around that to sound less like an amateur and sound more professional. It's like with breathing and stuff. I've kind of realized that like breathing is a huge part of like how the way you sound when you sing, because it's like it is simply something you can't mimic with like your mouth. Like you have to control the way you breathe so you're not too nasally or anything like that. I'm not much of a singer though, so I won't give that much feedback, but the thing I can give feedback on is the way you're mixing it. If you know anything about recording, you usually want to take several takes, and a lot of layers are needed with vocals. Well, they're not really needed, but that's how you make it sound good, is you like layer a bunch of tries and takes and you pan them left and pan them right so it sounds, you know, big and thick. You thicken up the vocals right. There's a lot of plugins that attempt to emulate that, or it's called like vocal doublers or something. iZotope had a plugin where it was like that. But there's always like some way to make them sound better, more stereo, more wide. What you don't want to happen in your mix is having them sound washy too reverbed or like you can't hear what you're saying. I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but if I can't hear what you're saying, I can't audibly tell what words you're singing, then you need to cut back on the processing a little bit. That's the main thing. I think it would sound fine if you cut back on the distortion, all that. One small thing too, when you put reverb on vocals, the industry standard, this is kind of like the norm, but if you haven't done mixing on vocals before, it's going to be kind of new to you. Usually add a lot of dampening on the high end. The high end doesn't get a lot of reverb because when you say those S's, it blurs everything out. And also just it makes the high end really busy. So at least add some dampening in the high end where it's not just washing everything out. You want the reverb to kind of sit a little bit above the fundamental of your voice, where like the part is, and lower than the s part, because that is the space that just sounds the best when it's being filled. Doesn't make it harder to tell what you're saying or anything, and it keeps the musicality of the original performance. Okay, that was a lot. Going on to the build-up. I think the intro overall is great. Could probably make that bass a little bit less headache sounding. Like turn down the 100 hertz range. Oh, lovely. TikTok just stopped my stream. It does not like me, dude. It really does not like me. So lame. Oh yeah, okay. So this drop, right? This build up. It's not terrible, but it's just not really living to its fullest potential. When you think of a build up, you want to blend this drop with the intro. So you want to somehow make it sound like it's getting more intense and it's gonna climax, but you're not spoiling it at all. You're kind of making yourself feel with anticipation for the drop or whatever. I think the way you arranged this just made it hard for you to make it have an impact. I think the drums should be more intense. I feel like there should be a new instrument added in the build-up that kind of brings more energy and isn't just like a background vocal or a background layer, texture effects or whatever. Not a sweep. Also, this down filter is not good. That white noise just makes everything a mess. This fake out you're doing, I appreciate the attempt, but it's just not working. You're confusing the audience for what to expect when the actual downbeat hits. When you have a fake out, imagine you have 4 bars of your track, and the first bar you want to be your fake out. You want to make it sound really weak, so then you have a delayed drop sound where you get kind of teased, and then, oh shoot, it's really big and heavy now. That's the kind of thing you want to experience. But in this, I'm kind of left confused. You're having a different rhythm. The basses are kind of coming in and out. The drums are at full volume, which makes me feel like the drop is happening, but then like a bar later it actually happens, and I'm like, wait, when am I supposed to headbang? So that's also the trade-off when trying something a little bit different. Like I said before, your drop sounds pretty unique. It's a good attempt to out your comfort zone, but the given is that you're making it harder for people to dance to. At the end of the day, that is an important thing if you want to play shows and be a big DJ. So just keep that in the back of your head, thinking, okay, how can I dance this? If I show this to someone right now, would they headbang? Yes or no? So think of it like that, and maybe you can get the arrangement down a little bit better at least. Okay, I pretty much went through everything. Weird click in the last drop. Yeah, it was something that I didn't like in here at all. Oh, it was that right there. I don't know if you heard it, but it was that sound. I don't know what that is. It's like a weird click sound. It sounds like it's a reversed kick or something, but you can hear the transient still, which it just does not sound good. So fix that part. Everything else, just stick with what I said. And yeah, hopefully that helps and makes a better song. So thank you for submitting. Next we are going to Coltrate. Sweet, Coltrate. All right, see what you got. Okay, ominous. Sounds like a bit of a bell ambience. Also, I am gonna talk a little bit more during the song, just because TikTok is just absolutely angry at me for not talking. It's the January 6th one, right? What? What are you talking about? Oh, wow. That's pretty loud. Ooh. Wow. It's very distorted, too. A lot of sub. That one, like, scratchy bass that is just so wide. I like the arrangement though. It's pretty nice. Oh, for the form? Is that when I posted it last? Man, that's a very unfortunate question. It should be any of the ones that say you free, so just any one of those. I like this part. It's pretty cinematic. Ooh. Actually not a fan of the snare like at all. Wow. Dang, bro. That one is sick. I think that one in a lot of areas just plays to your strong suits for like the arrangement. I like the arrangement quite a lot. So yeah, very, very nice. I have some notes here. Let's go through them. The snare in the build up was just extra loud, like it was kind of hurting, but honestly, I just think it's just not a good snare. It's like too bright, too distorted. It's just too much. It's not really helping with the impacts that you're going for. That's like the big thing is the snare. I just don't like the snare. Thank you a bunch for the tips. I'm extremely grateful for the feedback and very glad you liked the track. Thank you so much for sending. I really liked the part, and yeah, you sang in your own track. That's sick, man. I always love to see people doing that because I keep trying to, and I'm like, oh, I fucking hate it. But anyways. Okay, so pay attention to your master. It's not that loud, but a lot of things are going on at the same time, and it's just clipping a lot. Like I'm looking at my oscilloscope, and like everything is clipping, and that's just not a very good sign. You want to have some more space, especially in this part, because you don't have a bass. All you have are drums, a choir, and like a vocal playing. Also like a brass instrument, but it should not be taking that much space. Like that's too much space being occupied for an intro that instrumentally is not full. Like this isn't a full instrument orchestra happening. It would just be too loud. So simply all you need to do is turn down the master a little bit more, or maybe in this section, if it's just a problem in here, turn down just this section and see if that helps. So I think your arrangement is good. No real complaints. Apparently this is for a remix competition, so you're gonna try and impress some producer bros. So from like an arrangement standpoint, like I like it a lot. You need something to really impress them. If it's a remix contest, you need to like impress the producer, which is very rare. You don't really see that happen much. You usually try to impress the listener. Using Kilohearts, Melda plugins, nice, based, Vital, 3's producing. You want feedback on mixing, mastering, and sound design. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, you can just see it's just a big fat sausage. Yeah, it just gets faster, and it's like it just hurts my ears, man. That buildup is too much. Your snare is overcompensating. That scratchy bass is just so bright and wide. It's distracting, and it sounds completely tonally different from the other instruments too. They need to sound like they are part of the same group, like they're all coming from the same place, if that makes sense. I use this term called a sound palette. I think you should make sure your sounds blend together more. And what I mean by sound palette is making sure the timers are more similar, or the tones are aligned, their loudness is more aligned. Are you having like really wide washy sounds, or are you having really dry, like in your face kind of sounds, like something's right in front of my face yelling or something? That's how you should look at these sounds. I just think the scratchy one is too different from the other sounds, and just in general too, like your basses are really really lacking. The sub, I mean, not like just the bass, but the sub is just lacking in this one. And I can kind of tell what you were thinking. I think you're trying to maximize your loudness, which I think is a bad thing to do. When you're maximizing loudness, through like LUFS. Like people look at LUFS and they're like, okay, how can I make this the loudest? Because a lot of platforms, they analyze loudness through LUFS and they judge how much they're going to turn your song down based off of that. Which, for one, I think that's a bad idea because you're gonna get your song turned down more. It's gonna sound more compressed and less dynamic and less impactful. And also, the easiest way to make a song sound loud or have more LUFS is to cut the sub. The sub is really bad for loudness, but the sub sounds good. Everybody likes the sound of a sub bass. So what do you want? Do you want a nice crisp sub or do you want a really loud song? In between is some balance that you have to choose. You can't have both. In this case, it is just simply too loud. Your sub is having a lot of trouble, and when you're maximizing for loudness too, you're kind of biasing your spectrum to just be all high end. So it's out of balance, and then instead of things competing for the full spectrum that you have instruments laid out in, you're making it so the instruments have to compete in the high end, and that just makes it really hard to have sound stand out because everything's just in the high end. Like if you had low end, things would stick out more. How's best to send? There's a link on the screen that shows the Patreon. If you just click on the Patreon and join for free, there's a link for that. Yeah, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, subs lacking. I just think you should change the snare. Best case, it just sounds like it's not a noisy mess. It just sounds like a bad quality snare. I don't know. Or it could just be like over saturated or something, like over distorted. Because it might sound like it's good, but it just sounds so distorted. Like way too much. Yeah, but everything else I think you did pretty well on. It has a good arrangement. Your sound design's pretty good. You just need to iron out the sound palette, make sure everything kind of sticks together more. And the sub is a big one, and the snare is a big one. But if you get all those things done, I think it would absolutely kill. And good luck on your remix contest. Those are always really hard. So yeah, hope you win that. Also keep me updated on how it goes, because those are always like, oof. I remember the Murata contest happened. The what was it called? I can't remember what it's called. Avoidable Cause. Yeah, it was the Murata Avoidable Cause remix contest, and he announced it, and we made our remixes. I think a lot of people made remixes of songs during that time, and then like 6 months passed. He didn't say anything, and then it got canceled. It's like, great, we made those songs for nothing basically. Gives me heavy Code Pandorum vibes. Oh yeah, Code Pandorum. He's like the OG guy for tear out stuff. Yeah, it does sound like him. Hi, I'm a new producer, like making music for 11 months. Tips to get improvement fast. A lot of misinformation online will set you back years, because it happened to me. A lot of people online think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. They don't know anything. And they're really stupid. Large majority of them actually are really stupid. I would stick to the ones I recommend. Daniel Larson. Not Daniel Larson. No, it's just Dan. Is that like the guy that That the little cow guy? I can't remember. No, it was Sonic Academy or something. Yeah. Him, AU5 is also really good. And also look at your favorite producers that are making music and just watch their streams if they have any. I think a lot of producers have like Patreons and stuff. Look at like an actual producer that plays a lot of shows and that you enjoy and respect. And that's the best way to grow, because a lot of these YouTubers want to sound like they're good, especially rap producers. People who make rap beats and trap beats are terrible at music. They are the worst source to learn from. They don't like BusyWorks Beats. Okay, I'm gonna name drop him because I think he is legitimately one of the worst YouTube channels to learn from. He makes like a simple topic that you can learn in 1 minute into a 10-minute video, and it's terrible. Yeah, if you like EDM, I just recommend that. Find your favorite artist like me and look at their Patreon content like me, and then you'll get better. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling on a little too much. We have Zeroed, another remix. I wonder if you're doing a remix competition, Zeroed. So loud already. Like, this is already the drop. That snare. Holy. This is the quietest part of the song, and it's an amen break. What? Oh my gosh. This is still the quietest part of the song. I can't believe this. I don't like that cookie. Dude, this is just so insanely distorted. Yeah, I don't know. I get kind of what you're going for. You want the crunchy 808 thing, right? Where the 808 plays and everything just vibrates like crazy. Yeah, I kind of get that. But oh my goodness, I think you need to change how you're going about that. 'Cause yeah. I thought I turned it down. Bro, it's a sausage fest. Like, genuinely, it is a sausage. It is a big honkin' sausage. It's not really a good thing. Like I said, this part, that's the drop. Like, that's already the drop, and then you turn to a build up, and it's like, okay, you can't out loudness that. Like, that's just, it's too intense. I don't like that snare either. That snare's, it just doesn't fit. Also, wait, there's like bleeding happening. I can't tell if there's bleeding happening or not. Sounds like the tail of the snare is still playing over the next snare, and it just keeps happening, and then you just got like this noisy flangey thing happening, which it just doesn't sound good. So I don't know. Check if that's actually happening, because I can't really tell. But I suspect it's happening. I hear like a little bit of flanging. So okay. The biggest thing. All right. Let me explain how to do the 808 crunch thing that you're talking about, okay? The 808 crunch that you are trying to attempt is you're doing it through the master. The master is a way to do it, but a way can do it without destroying your mix, because in order to have that crunchy master thing, the crunchy 808, is to have the 808 like super loud, like over crazy amount, over the top, just ballistic loud. And then the crunching that you're hearing is in between the peaks, so like the upper hemisphere of the sine wave and the lower hemisphere of the sine wave, in between those hills, I guess you could say, are where your sound is. Like that's the only space that it breathes. So you're almost like ring modulating your entire song with the sub. And I just gave a clue. You could ring mod everything if you want to have that effect and not destroy your mix. So here is the tip, okay? Have an 808, have like a somewhat normal 808. You don't want like a really boring sub or something that is over the top, like distorted. You want something just kind of in between, like a good harmonic 808. Okay, you're going to get your instruments. So it's going to be the vocals, the pads, the hi-hats maybe, or cymbals, whichever ones you feel would sound good if they were crunched. Any melody, anything that you want to sound crunchy, okay? Just basically anything in that, like that. Put that into a bus where it all can sit and get affected by something. So you can high pass the whole thing, low pass it, whatever you want. Don't include the drums, so like the kick, the snare, clap. I mentioned cymbals, but you want the cymbals. It's kind of like a you thing to figure out. The cymbals still, they still kind of like play through that, or they're getting destroyed with it thing, because you want to preserve them a little bit. That's kind of for your own judgment. So you have the bus that you want with all your instruments that you're wanting to crunch. You're going to sidechain your 808 to that bus. You can find out any way to sidechain through any DAW. It's just like sidechaining a kick to something, but instead of the kick, you're doing the sine wave or the 808. You're going to load any ring mod plugin or anything that's kind of like that. Compactor also does that if you use Kilohearts. Kilohearts Compactor does that. You're going to choose the ring mod signal. You're going to choose a sidechain signal and then ring mod it. And then you can adjust it to taste, to how crunchy you want. You can have it really intense or not so intense. That's really up to you. But that's the preferred way to add crunch, with keeping the dynamics of your kick and clap and snare and all that. And it just sounds way cleaner that way. And the extra plus side too is it still sounds like that. So if your 808 fades out over time, it's going to sound like it's fading out the crunch too. So it's going to sound natural. It's not going to sound forced. It's just going to sound really good. That gives me an idea. I should probably make a video about that, because I think a lot of trap producers might like that. Like, this part doesn't sound that bad, honestly. If this is the drop, it sounds pretty decent. I enjoy listening to this one. Also, I just think the snare should just be shorter. So sidechain all the vocals, synths, pads, etc. to the 808. Yeah, if they're in their own bus, yes. And you do have control over what stuff you want to sidechain. So if you end up not liking the sidechaining on the vocals, you can just take it out of the bus. And it's as simple as that. So that should just make it way easier for you. I might just make a video on that. I think a lot of people will be interested in that. And also, I mean, this would free you up to turn down the master. That's the kind of the point I was getting at, is do that sidechain technique so that you can turn down the master and make it less loud and abrasive so that you have like dynamics and all that fun jazz. The balancing is pretty good from like instrument to instrument. I think they're all staged properly. The arrangement, decent. I think it's fine. I don't like this clicky kick though. This is too clicky and very bright. Me no likey. But yeah, thank you for submitting, Zeroed. Huge dub. I will just make a video probably, and if you're on the Patreon, you can see that. Okay, who's next? We got Triboot, and they want feedback on mixing and sound design. Producing for 5 years. Nice, bro. Let's take a listen. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Hit you with the.
Oh my goodness. The drop is so quiet compared to the build up. Goodness, man. Bro, this is so loud. The drop is so quiet. I like this part though. I like melodic section. Goodness. Okay. Holy. I like. Yeah. Okay. Do I need to even say anything? I think I do. I do owe you that. I like the sound design. Genuinely. It's nice. That's not the problem though. It's the high end. The high end is just it's too much. Way too much. My ears hurt. Bro, I knew things were gonna be bad with the high end when the riser in the intro was this loud. Like, that's clipping. You're clipping a white noise riser? What? Like, oh my gosh. Dude, that's so loud. This song would have a major improvement if you deleted all your master effects. Like, anything on the master chain that is a limiter, clipper, all of that, just delete it and turn the entire thing down. Okay? You are mastering for the drop. I can tell because everything around the drop sounds terrible. And the reason you made it this loud is because you want the sub to sound loud. But you don't realize that the sub is making everything duck and sound quieter. So you're like playing you're like playing with yourself. Okay, not like that. Wait. You're not doing like that, but you're just making it so hard for yourself to do this. It's just so simple. Turn down the entire master. If you want it to be louder, turn down the sub. Do that instead. Don't try to obliterate your signal with clippers. Please. Please, I beg you. Please. Okay? Oh my gosh.
Hit you with the.
Like I literally said, the drop sounds quieter, like way quieter, and it's because the sub is taking most of the space. But then when that sub isn't there, oh no, the white noise is bleeding my ears. Stop it. I think that sound is a little out of place just because you don't really hear it around the drop. It just kind of comes in. It's like, hi guys, it's me. The sound nobody really wanted. Like, put it in somewhere that it's useful because it's a unique tone. It's something I could like. You could layer it. Why not? But instead, you have at the end for like a moment. Also, these background effects I think are just too loud. They have like a saw in the background. We're going, and it's just playing the entire time. It does not go away. It's not helping with any tension or release. It's just the entire time. Fuck you. What's up? Oh my gosh, dude. Okay. As far as like the instruments relate to each other, like your kick and your clap and your basses and everything except the background saw thing, all in relation to each other, they sound pretty good. Like the kick hits, your clap hits well. I don't know where the cymbals are, honestly. Where are the cymbals? Do you have any cymbals at all? Oh, the cymbals are just quiet. I think I would just turn them up. But like, they sound pretty decent together. It's just kind of hard to tell when the entire song is clipping and hurting my ears. So, but they sound fine. It really is just you need to turn them down. Like on all seriousness. I see, that sounds cool. Like I like that little. It's clean. Oh yeah, and I forgot. One of my notes is the sidechain is too long. Yeah, it's too long. I'm not sure how you're going about sidechaining. You might just be like ducking the entire signal with a share box or something, or like an automation clip. I think it's just taking too long to go back up to its original position. Like the decay on the sidechain signal is just simply too long. Just shorten that. Keep like the initial duck length the same though. It just needs to fade in sooner, if that makes sense. Fade in sharper, because it sounds like it's going like it's just too smooth. Culture 8, what's up? I already talked about your song. I gave it a negative 10 out of 10. You're welcome. Worst song ever. But yeah, I already reviewed it. I think you can I think you can go back. I don't think Twitch lets you go back, which is kind of lame. Didn't Twitch used to like let you go backwards? Wait, I think I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Just go on my YouTube and see if you can go back on that, because I know YouTube can let you do that. I have no idea why Twitch doesn't let you go back in the stream. Like it's so weird, and they have to go to the VOD to see it. Like, just doesn't. I don't know why they do that. Why? Anyways, we have Dilux. Dilux said he was banned from Discord because he's a naughty little mean guy. Central Rhythm. First rhythm of the day. I don't know if I like that clap. If it had more like of a tail, I would like it a lot more. I think you're kind of losing me here. I liked the first 8 bars of that drop. I thought it was pretty clean, but then you started playing like the first like quarter note hit over and over again, and I was just like, okay. Again, that first quarter note hit. Okay. So you asked for mixing and mastering advice. I thought your mixing was pretty decent actually, but I mean, at the same time, okay, like it's rhythm, right? You have a kick, clap, cymbal sometimes, and a bass. That's all you're really having to worry about with mixing stuff. So not really that surprised that the mix is good. Like it is what it is. Okay, you don't have many things in the track to mix, so the mix is good. What can I say about that? The real complaints I have about the mix are more the ways you're using effects. I think your bass might be drowned out a little too much, and you could probably use some sidechain on the reverb, because the reverb does bleed into itself, and it just makes the whole song seem way more like less energetic, more like it's standing in the background feeling. Your clap also is like surprisingly dry, which I think is too much of a contrast from your bass. I feel like your clap should be a little bit more drowned in reverb to complement the bass, so that it feels like it's part of the same song, because the clap is kind of standing out a lot. Your kick sounds good. I like a kick. I mean, it's just nice. You did a good job choosing the sample. On the bass, what I should elaborate what I mean by like sidechain the reverb. You have reverb on the bass, so the reverb, when you have it on the bass, you're putting it on there for the tail, right? But when the actual bass is playing, like it's playing the note, I think the reverb should duck. So you have the dry signal, and then once the bass fades out, then the reverb kind of takes over and makes it more more spacey, I guess. So try doing that. You can do that with like just a regular sidechain signal. If you have like a reverb bus, I think it's the best way to do it. Have a reverb bus, do all the reverb work, and then all you need to worry about is, oh, I just throw the sidechain on it, and it's ducking. Some reverb plugins do have a sidechain option where it just ducks automatically, which is nice, but you should try that. It would be a nice blend if you want to have like the wideness and also the characteristics of the bass to be pushed up more. In general, I think your clap is a little much in the high end, and your basses could have more high end, but not too much. Your high end should be mostly dominated by the cymbals. I think the cymbals in the second drop, like the cymbals do really take a lot of energy, and it sounds good with that energy. Like the cymbals really. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Dude, TikTok is making me do a puzzle, or it's gonna end my live stream. What? What? What in the world, man? Bro. Okay. Dude, it was like a quick time event. Like, am I playing... What? Am I playing until dawn or something? Got to match the buttons. It was like a puzzle piece. I got to slide to get the puzzle piece in place. Hello? Okay. I think I got through everything on that one. Good job overall. A lot of my criticism had to do with like the actual it had to do with the actual like sound design and arrangement a little bit. Like I don't like the fact that you're replaying the same first quarter note over and over again in a lot of places, and I feel like I wish the bass would transform a little bit more and progress. And also your transitions were a bit bland. I feel like your transitions could have been a lot more decorative, but you do you. It's rhythm at the end of the day. People usually just make it to play out in shows and they don't really think about it. So yeah, good job. Thank you for submitting. Hope that helps. And next up we have someone submitting from TikTok. I hope this went through properly. Okay, it did. Sweet. Yups, if you submitted, it's your time. And I think I only have, oh, I didn't include 3. I'm so goofy. I think I have just a few more submissions after this and we're done. Oh, Basty, what's up? Oh, yo. Finally, I don't have to wake up that early again on Thursdays anymore. Really? What happened? Did you like change your schedule up? You work a different time or something? Either way, I mean, if it frees up time for you to be in the feedback stream, welcome. I don't know if I did it in the right channel for mine. I did it in the forum. I'll double check and make sure. Oh, the paid feedback forum has some submissions. I didn't even notice. You guys looked in that one. Sorry about that. I'll look them after this one. Okay. A short one. Was not expecting this. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's hilarious. Dude, I thought it was gonna be like like an actual I don't want to say like an actual song because it is an actual song, but I thought it was gonna be like this loop and someone singing, but oh my gosh. Pleasantly surprised. Wow. Okay, so I mean, you only really asked for sound design feedback, so I'll just give you that. Sound design, it is just okay to me. Your bass, you're doing quarter notes, okay? So quarter notes, wah 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 wah, right? Your bass is just really staccato. Like it's very fast and short. So it sounds like it's going bap 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 bap. But you're playing quarter notes and it doesn't really fill up that much space. A lot of your space is being filled up by the sub, and you don't have any lasting timbre or body to make it sound like huge, right? Like this is a really short transient. Those would sound better in the context of you playing like 16th notes, like right? Not bep 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 bep. Just too short. So whatever you're using for the bass, Serum, Faceplant, whatever, you should make the decay longer, just long enough to where it sounds like it's filling up the whole quarter note, okay? And maybe you could even set a macro to where you can change between the short one or the long one. You can increase the decay or shorten it, and then you can alternate them, you know, right? So you have some pushing and pulling to kind of have some contrast and make it more interesting. This is also a very lasery kind of bass, so it just it sounds like it's swinging down like okay. I want to settle on a tone. Like what makes rhythm sound good is those really dry mid tones, like they're really deep in the mids. You could also just utilize layering. You could have a whole other bass layer over this, a whole different bass, and just, you know, cut out the mids. You could cut the sub, turn on the high end a little bit, just mix it into your liking, and then boom, you have that gritty layer, and maybe you don't even need to change the main bass anymore. So really just make the bass sound more full in the mids and not so short, and it'll sound much better. Also try using some alternation or variation in the bass. Like I suggested, having the alternating pattern, the wah, 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 wah. I feel like that would add a lot more groove into it anyways. And personally, a really fun idea I think you should implement is implementing the Mexican instruments that are in there. So they use a lot of like offbeat guitars. If you can just cut a sample out there and put it on the offbeat, that would just make my day, honestly. Also, one little side note too, vocals. You want to try and not sidechain vocals, or if you do, make it really slight and short, because vocals are like the human connection you have when you listen to a song. So you want to make sure it's legible. You can hear it and sound it out and understand what they're saying. So try that. Ugh, I love people advertising my chat. love bots in my chat. I love bots. Okay. So thank you, Yups, for submitting. Very awesome. I think I already saw this one from Culturate. Okay, yeah, I did. Dude, I love Mexican music. Okay. All right, we have Basty. Sick. Yeah, I realize that. I always think of like blocking the bot trigger words, but I just forget to because I'm lazy and goofy. Okay. let's hear it, Basty. This little thing, it's literally 33 seconds. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my. Snare, bro. I like the snare. The snare is cool, but it sounds really mono. Like really mono. I suggest putting the teensiest, tiniest short delay reverb on the snare, that poor little snare. Make sure it's just a high end. Yeah, layer on top or something. But it sounds good. Like the mids sound good and chunky. Also, I have to put a red flag up. I hear something with the high end. Is something you want to confess? You will get less jail time if you confess what's up with the high end, because it sounds like it's being ducked in some way. It sounds like something's happening spectrally, or it's hitting the highs, and I don't really like it. Do you happen to have a soothe on an instrument or some kind of spectral compressor? I'll play it again. The spectral comp by Nasco. I thought I heard it, but I wanted to make sure. It sounds like when the snare's hitting, it's like ducking the highs a lot, and it sounds really unnatural. Because like it doesn't sound like this. It's sidechain, right? It's like after when the sidechain would hit, so it sounds kind of weird, and it only happens in the high end. Maybe just tone down how much affects the high end. I think. Oh, I don't have on this side. No, I'm just saying like it doesn't sound like that. I think you should tone down whatever's affecting the high end, because there's something messing with the high end spectrally, and I hate trying to figure this out, man. Spectral plugins that like turn up and down frequencies are so frustrating. Like they're always in stuff. Like ever since Sooth came out, I don't know how to like spot something spectral. Like it's a completely new thing I need to learn. But it just sounds like something's happening in the high end that I don't like. Previously, your high end sounded pretty good, I think, because it sounded pretty uniform. But it's just this one in particular, the high end sounds really just weird, right? So that's my only thing I can really point out, other than like the snare being really mono, which I think is kind of odd. Oh, also the bass could be a bit louder, right? Not the tone bass, but the sub bass. Did some things different on this one because it's for oh, I see. Mega collab. Man, mega collabs are kind of a headache. Like to be real. Like, to mix so many styles, and sometimes you have to commit to a sound that you might not like and all. I was part of like 2 somewhat mega collabs. Like, they weren't like any bigger than, I'd say, like 8, but they were big enough. And I was like, I don't know. Don't really like, I want to make my own sounds, right? Like, I want to use my sounds. I think my sound design's good, and I want to use it. We are 9. Oh wow, 9 people. And basically only 2 people are participating. Isn't that the story of collaboration though? Like, you just all you're doing is doing all the work. There's only one collab I've ever done, or like I didn't do much, and that song never came out. So I don't know. I made one part of it, and they were like, "Cool, let's release it," and we never did. I don't know. I think one of the guys just stopped making music too, so we're like, I don't know, should we release it just without him or what? But anyways, it was really good. I liked it. No real complaints. Yeah. Let's move on. I think, yeah, now we have a few left. We're on to Rage now. Mr. Rage. Yes, thank you, Basty, for submitting. What's up, Killer? Yes, you are still in queue. We're just doing paid submissions, so this is the last submission for right now. Open your exams, bro. Oh! Yo! Oh my gosh. Oh. This is crazy, bro. Holy. Yo, that was crazy. I like that a lot. That was insane. Dang, bro. I don't remember you submitting something like this before. It's just wow. The part after the drop is very whipped. Yeah, I figured. It just sounds like, you know, transitional part, whatever. So my notes for you asked for mixing mastering feedback. You're trying to submit to a label. 4 or 5 years producing. Yeah, very solid. If you're going for a label, let me think. I'm trying to think from a label's perspective, like without my feedback first. So a label's gonna look at obviously the quality of your music and how much you stand out to other people. It's been a while since I've like known what's gone on with like a label, but they kind of think of it as like we're releasing a compilation, or we want to do a Primal Rex. Okay, they look at it like a compilation with a bunch of artists to release, or if you have like an EP, they might do an EP. They don't really do singles, so you're most likely gonna be on like a compilation of some sort. Excuse me. They usually think of it as like slots. Like, okay, I have 15 slots to fill, and I want the 15 slots to be filled with the best people and people who also hit different areas of what I'm looking for. So, is this different enough from other people? I would say yes. Is this good in quality? I would also say yes. I think the two things for you on you is good. Though it is one song. If you can get more songs that are up to this quality, you could probably get an EP. That's up to you. You probably won't ever really get singles with labels. I think it's just really rare to get one, and honestly, isn't really too worth it unless they're a really big label, or like bigger than most. Uh, yeah, you want going for that label. I think it's a good idea. You can at least get your name out there. If the reception is good on this one, then make more stuff like this. Okay, so I like the intro. I like the fake out. Everything flows really well together. Here again. Most big labels seem kind of dead right now. Yeah, it's because they are. Dude, big labels have such a big like self-managing problem. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, they make such simple mistakes, or they just don't realize the stuff they're doing is like ruining their own life. I just don't get it. Honestly, I could rant about that, but oh my. Okay, so Basty says less mids. I kind of agree, but I kind of don't. Um, the reason why it sounds so mid heavy is because you have a ton of bias on, and bias is making it sound really gritty. So if you put an EQ after the bias, it's gonna just kind of completely destroy the grittiness that you're getting right now. Because it's just gonna do a lot of phase shift, and it's gonna sound just not. It's gonna sound muddy instead if you cut the mids. What you should do instead, I think you should try and automate the bias and try to fix it in that way, because that's the thing that's making it too mid heavy. At least I think so. That's what bias really does. It's just like it adds a ton of mids and even harmonics to your sound, so it just makes it sound really gritty. But in the point I had in here, automate the bias knob. So if you have it on negative or positive, I always say this when someone uses bias, but automate it from no bias when the transient hits, and then once the sub kind of kicks in and you get that deep low sub, then you can turn the bias on to whatever setting you had before. And I think that would make it way more clear and not so like it's overly gritty and destroyed. Like having a small curve that removes the bias every hit. Yes, exactly like that. Like I'm saying on the transient, there's no bias, and then when the bass comes in, more bias, right? You're like tuning it to that. I do that trick a lot. It's a really cool trick that makes your basses so much better. Like, trust me on that one. Also a cool idea on the longer notes, you can overdrive the bias so when the bass ends, it sounds like really crunchy and gritty, and then you can just keep doing it over and over again. So try that. I think that would help. And also in general, you could just adjust the bias, like Basty said. It's a little too mid heavy, so you could probably let up on the bias a bit, or like boost the sub just a bit. And try some EQ maybe before the bias hits to just take out some mids, but it's mostly going to be the bias that's the issue. So try to do that and it'll sound good. My last feedback for this song is your song sounds really good. I like it a lot. It flows very nicely. Like, this sounds like it sounds like a huge stepping stone for you, like release wise. The only thing is it really needs differentiation from other stuff. And the easiest way you can do that is by having a really intense motif, which I think might be a little too late to add at this point. But instead, maybe add vocals. Vocals are the easiest way to add a motif or to make it memorable. I think adding more motifs or like vocal samples. You had one in the pre-drop, something like that. Add that in between transitions, or just like a vocal phrase repeating in the drop or something that makes you have more of a human connection. So then you remember it more instinctively, and do that, and then your song will just be way better. So that's feedback for you. Thank you so much for submitting. Really sick. I really enjoyed it. Send more stuff like that, and I might just have to follow you, bro. That's a threat. I just might have to follow you, and you won't like it. Okay, last submission of the day. I feel bad for this guy. D-Ras, been waiting pretty long, but we're doing him, and that should be the last one for the stream. All right, man. Is this the drop? Okay. All right. Okay. If we forget about this being like a bootleg of arguably the most famous rhythm song of all time, production wise, I think there's a good amount of issues in this song. Most notably being that there's no buildup, there's no tension, there's no anticipation, you're not building any energy. The arrangement is really bland. You didn't really put that much care into transitioning between two parts. There was an over repetitiveness with certain sounds. And there's nothing really progressing the song forward. Like it feels like the intro is the same as the end. It feels like the intro is the entire song. So it's not changing. There's no different rhythm. You did a slight like melody change, but you like pitched something down and up, and that was pretty much it. If you want a song that attracts followers and gets attention and gets you played out in shows, you need to know how to DJ good songs and have original works. This is just not eye-catching. No one's gonna hear this in a club and be like, holy smokes, I can tell that D-Rask made this. You want a song where people can say that. You want a song where people can be like, oh, that's a D-Rask song because he has a really cool sound, or he has a really cool way he mixes drums, or whatever. You want something that they can identify and point out in a song, because if someone else plays your song, that person that's playing their show could be like, oh, it's a D-Rask song. Yeah, I know that song. I love that one. But no, it's gonna sound like the remix of that rhythm song, but like it's gonna sound just not good. And I'm sorry, but putting it bluntly, that's just what it is. It's just not good. Excuse me. I think what you could do a lot better is you could make the alarm not be so repetitive here. Like, this is completely distracting, and I didn't even notice this, but that is the drop. That was the fake out. You had this downbeat. That's a fake out, right? And then it just keeps playing. There's a vocal. And then drums come in. Like, I didn't even know what was going on. There's no anticipation. I'm not thinking, oh, Snap's gonna go into a breakdown. The drums are gonna come back in. I'm not thinking any of that. It sounds like it's a transitional period where you're gonna have a build up afterwards. Like, if you had a regular build up going do 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 do, like I would think that something's gonna happen, but nothing actually happens. It just keeps playing the same drum pattern. So it's just very anticlimactic. Your sub is also just not cutting out really at all. Like, no rise to it. You don't have any riser or anything in this. It's just like 8 bars to the next 8 bars. Think of it as like energy, right? Or this entire song, right? When you're in your DAW, think of energy as like a level. It's gonna go from 0% to 100%. You don't want your entire song to be at the max level of energy, right? You want some parts to be less energetic, and then so that way you can have contrast. So the less energetic parts transition to more energetic parts. You can take energy away momentarily and then have it jump up to 100 so that the listener is surprised and they get really energetic, and it's causing an emotional reaction, like surprise. Have you ever been surprised? Have you ever been scared? You know what that feels like. Like, you're anticipating something that is gonna happen. You're watching a horror movie. You're anticipating something bad's gonna happen, but you don't know when it's gonna happen, or like you're just like in an uncomfortable feeling, right? And then you get surprised. Then the surprise comes. All the energy is there. Maybe you got celebrated your happy birthday. You like had a surprise birthday party. Everybody's there. Surprise. The energy is really high. Oh my gosh, this is the peak of my excitement. Okay, but it's not going to be the peak forever. It's going to die down, and then there's going to be another surprise soon. Like, that's how human emotion works. Like, you're not always going to be at 100%. Okay, you're going to have some downtime. That's normal, and it also benefits just dance culture anyways. People aren't going to be dancing 24/7 in the club. Okay, people are going to take a break from dancing and then like take a few moments to breathe. There's gonna be a build up where they can get ready, or they know when to dance, or they know where the downbeat's gonna hit so they can headbang. It's just the way it works, and it's beneficiary to people who dance. I think you should just look up more basic arrangement on how to arrange a song, and how to build energy. I have a video on Patreon explaining how to do arrangement a lot better and an easier way to get your songs written down in like blocks. I think I have a good video on that. I explain the energy thing in depth, and I show you how to go through all the steps. So, sound design stuff. I think, in my honest opinion, it doesn't really sound like these sounds are yours. It sounds like they're samples that you took, and you just pitch them up and down to your liking. It's not really a sound design thing. You're just kind of sampling at that point. I can't get better if I don't do this. Exactly. I'm just trying to get you some information so you can work with it. Because I didn't really have that when I first started. Try making some sounds in Serum. Follow tutorials. There's tons of tutorials in Serum online that you can just follow, and then, you know, making your own sound teaches you what everything does. Once you learn what everything does and you understand it, then you can make your own sounds, and that's just how you progress. You're really new to the production aspect? Nice. I'm glad to see people doing like dubstep and stuff. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, check out my Patreon if you want production stuff. I also do requests, so if you want to learn something in specific, you can ask me. But anyways, that's all for today for the production stream. So thank you everybody for coming out and sending me your stuff. Really awesome, and I honestly love giving feedback. I feel like it's pretty helpful to you guys. And literally, like, people come back and they send me their stuff and they get better every week, and I'm like, yo, if you keep doing this, I won't have anything to give feedback for. For those that are still here, check out my Patreon. I do production videos. I do feedback streams like this every week. So next week, tune in at 5 p.m. EST Wednesday. I'll be here talking smack about your tracks. So yeah, also do sample packs and stuff. So if you guys want just samples for making dubstep, then you come to the right place. Check out my Patreon. Hey guys, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Wait, how do I end this on TikTok, bro? Oh, there we go. Okay. Bye, guys, on TikTok.